Hi everyone, this is Ajay. So today we'll be discussing about OData APIs which are exposed in CWAD as well as on-prem that happens in desktop. So we'll have few use cases and we'll be doing a walkthrough on each of them. Let's get started. The entire CWAD monitoring data is collected into monitoring DB and OData APIs which are open standard expose these APIs via OData v4 version of the endpoints. So as an admin, so how to see this monitoring data? So there are many clients like Director, PowerShell SDK, and OData is one of them. So you can build your own client and fetch this data from it. To start with this, like you might have where to fetch this data, how to fetch it, and what are the headers to pass, what is the authentication used. So this walkthrough will guide you through each of the phases. So let's get started. So we'll start with what to query. So we'll take this URL. Say, let me close all of this. No, let's start fresh. So we'll take this URL. We'll put in, so there's something called customer ID. So the URL goes like zendesktop.net Citrix monitor data v4/data. So there is something called customer ID, and there are many ways to get it. One of the ways is log into Citrix Cloud, and you will see a tile called Identity and Access Management in it. Currently, I have logged in and selected my production customer. So Identity and Access Manager, if you navigate here, you will see something like this, which is your customer ID. And let me copy that here. And if you want to know what are the endpoints that are exposed, there is this metadata endpoint which will list all the entities that are exposed. Currently, let me just hit this, and it must say authorization or customer header is unavailable. So what I see here is, okay, I have to pass in some kind of authentication. One of the ways is passing bearer token. Say I open the console and see, currently I'll use this. Later in the walkthrough, I'll even tell how to generate this token. Currently, I copied it. And one more way to see your customer ID is this. So just type in CLB customer ID in the console section, and it will list you that customer ID, which is same as here. Currently, I copied the token, and token has to be sent in headers, and it should be a get method. Authorization is the header name, and CWS auth bearer, and I'll paste it. And it says custom authorization or customer header. Customer header should be same as your customer ID, which you're passing here. So I'll just pass it. Okay, and it has passed, and it has listed something. I see some tables which are listed with the columns. Currently, it doesn't make that much sense, but we'll come back to this later. So what you did just now is you were able to fetch what are the tables that are exposed from this API, as well as how to call this API from your client. Currently, I use Postman as a client. So let's go to next. So okay, you know how to fetch now, how to fetch the data, but how do you decide what you need, and where do you get to know what you need? All those things. Currently, we have two sections in the schema. One is the entire schema. I'll just take this. I'll just hit enter. So I see all the tables are listed here. If I zoom in, I can see the table names and even the relation between those tables. This has all the tables. And one more section here is the breakdown of the schema. I'll just copy this as well and in the browser. Yeah, currently it has breakdown of the same schema which is listed here. We have broken down into 4 components, which is resource utilization, session and application usage, process utilization, and failures. And even you can find the subset of that particular schema in here. Say this is related to failures, and this has tables only related to failure. If you are looking for data related just values, you not go through this particular diagram. You can directly come here and see, okay, these are the tables related values, and see columns whichever you need, like that. Okay, and even the metadata endpoint which I showed earlier will list all the tables that are exposed entities. So moving to next. Okay, let's see, as an admin, you might come across some use cases which will be answered from director as well as PowerShell SDK, but there are some use cases which are not uh, fulfilled by those clients, and in that case, Orta will come into picture. So what you can do is you can create your custom query, and your custom query will look something like this, where it has the root and root URL and the filters you pass in comes later. So yeah, let's see how to create this particular query. Okay, in order to say you have an use case saying, okay, I have one deployment, I want to see the users who have a logon based on your particular threshold. Say I want to see the users who have logon in this particular month, who have logon more than 20 seconds as such. Okay, how to even start with a query? You know the base URL and you know the tables. Okay, I'll start with this particular subsection first, saying are found here. I'll just open this. Okay, here I see all the sessions related tables, and I see session table here which lists logon duration, and that is what I need. What I do here is, okay, I know sessions is a table. I'll just get top one to see what it has. So it has logon duration, which is what we need. And what we have to do is, we don't want all the records, we just want filtered records. So I'll just like apply one filter saying okay, this month, which is start date, which you can see here. I'll just take the same thing, just not to make sure that I don't do any mistakes there in copy pasting. And sessions greater than or equal to 03, and so that goes by year, month and date. And I need log on duration greater than or equal to 20,000 milliseconds, which is 20 seconds, and that's what I need. More than start date is greater than this, and log on duration is greater than this. Let's hit enter and see if I get the results. I have the result. So this log on is greater than 20,000, which is 32,000, which is 32 seconds, and start date is this particular month, and that is what I need. So basically my use, I'll just go back to the use case. I'll see, I know the column to query now, logon duration, count with the threshold. Here I took 20 seconds as a threshold. What is the time range I'm looking at? Okay, this month. So currently I've given greater than this particular month, so it should fulfill this. Okay, what do I want in the results? Okay, so currently I have all the columns of sessions table, which might not make sense for this particular use case, and I want only selected columns, right? So I'll just select logon duration. So it'll just list logon duration, and only logon duration doesn't make sense. Again, what I need is, I want users who face this particular logon duration, right? For that, I'll see if there is any navigation that exists from sessions to users. I'll just do expand on user to see if it's there. Okay, it's there. That's why it has expanded that particular result. I need only full name in it. What I do is, I'll just take this, I'll do a select again on user with the full name, right? So now I got username, logon duration, and it'll be good if I have the session start date as well with this. So I'll just do start date. This user tried to log in at this time, and this was the logon duration he faced. And what we can do one more is, we can order by say currently logon duration, and make sure you don't do any mistakes in capital, because it won't understand capital and small letters. It's case sensitive, so make sure it has right case. Okay, currently it's not descending order. I'll just make sure it's in descending. Okay, currently I see Madhuri has 426 seconds of login duration, and the session was tried to launch at 12th of this month. And this is kind of what we need, and we need only top records. So I can restrict the top, do a top of 5, so that I get only top 5 users who have bad logon in the given duration. And that's pretty much it. That is what I need, and I can actually create a dashboard saying where it lists all these 5 users with the login duration to tell the admin, okay, these users are having bad logon. Filters was basically like filtering out records of that particular date and login duration. And next, moving ahead with the use case 2, what we have here is grouping and count. In this use case, we'll try to see number of unique users who are logged in a given point of time. Say I just want number of users for this particular date range. Let's see how to get it done. So unique users will again go back to sessions. We'll see if any user related details are there. I see a user ID here, which is what we need. Let me open one more tab or duplicate this. I see I get this, and here I'll just do top 1. Okay, it has returned, and I see user ID as one of the fields here, and which is what we need. What we have to do is, if user has launched 3 sessions in that particular duration, we have to get the number as 1, right? Because we are searching for unique users. So that in that case, group by will come as handy, where we'll just remove all the duplicate entries and group by only on that user. And let's see how the group by syntax goes. First, we have to filter, and whenever applying filter with group by, and this is the syntax. First apply goes like this, later filter, and filter you have to pipe it to group by. Something like this, yes. And group by, make sure you have 2 braces here, and I'll explain later why we need 2 braces there. So I'm grouping by user ID as of now, and filtering I'll do by start date first, then or equal to same month I'll take, but I'll take 16 to 17, yeah, 16 to 17, greater than or equal to, and start date is lesser than same but next day 70. Okay, this looks like is what we need. Let's see if it's right. Okay, so now we got user IDs, list of user IDs here, and what we need here is the number, not the list of user IDs, right? So what we can do is, currently it lists all the users in each of the records like this, but basically we need count. So what it offers, one of the yeah, so yeah, I just do $count equal to true actually, yeah. So now Odita returns the count with it. Previously, if you had seen, when I remove $count equal to true, it just returns the list of users, but when I do $count equal to true, it even returns the count. But here in this use case, we need only count. We don't need any records as such. So I'll just do top equal to 0 to just remove all the records. So finally, this is what we need. We need the number for that particular duration. Say I want it for 15 to 16. And today there were 146 logins, and yesterday there were 28 logins. So yeah, that's how you get the trend of unique users. And that pretty much covers use case 2 as well. And yeah, this is exactly what we did. So let's move on to use case 3. So in your entire site, you want to know the top failed users, say users who have faced most failures in their connection attempt. In that case, let me go back. Session won't have any details, so I'll just like close this. I'll see if there is anything related to failures. I see one here, and these are related to application fault error, and I see connection failure log, which is what I need, and it even has one enum value. Yeah, cool. I'll just take this and see what it has. I'll just duplicate this. Failure log. I'll just take one record. Failure log. And the table names are in plural case. So make sure you are giving plural. And yeah, so it has one failure enum, which is the reason of failure. And it has a link to session key, and which is what I need. And session in turn has navigation to users. This navigation, you can get it from the $metadata call, which I explained in the beginning of the session. Basically, we have to group by the user from session navigation. So I'll be doing the same thing. Like filter, I need is the same date. I'll take create a date here. Then this entire month I'll take. Apply group by. Okay, group by here the column name goes. Currently I want to traverse to users. I'll take user ID because okay, let me take user name as well. And later I need the count of failures. So basically I have to currently, yeah, I want the number of failures for the particular user. What I'll do is aggregate. So let's see what it gives. It gave, okay, Ajay has one failure in that particular given duration is what it means. But basically what we need is top failed users. So we'll just order by ID, which is the grouped. Okay. So the bearer token has expired. So I'll come to this limitation later. Because that bearer token is valid for only 1 hour and we have to replace it whenever it gets expired. So this particular thing we'll see how to automate it later. Can you let me hit enter and get dollar order by okay, descending. Yeah, so Alicia had 21 failures. And if you want even more data on it, you can even have the enum value, which indicates the type of failure for that particular user. And this is pretty much what you need, and we can even restrict top equal to 5 we can do and see. Okay, these are the users who had the failure in that particular duration. And you even have user full name and the connection failure, white fail, and number of attempts, number of failures as well. So yeah, that's what we needed as a part of this particular use case. This had aggregate. So what we did was we grouped by this connection failure and the full name of user, and later aggregated all the IDs which came and distinct to get the IDs, to get the number of failures of that particular user. So moving on, in this particular use case, we'll see how to use the summary data. Summary is basically consolidated reports of the raw tables. Say for this application instance summary, what monitor does is it'll just like for every hour, for every day, it'll consolidate all the records into these particular values. Say usage duration of that particular application for the entire day, it'll just compute it and it'll put it into this column, and we can access that particular record by just giving granularity as 1440, which is 1 day. If we want 1 hour, you just try to give 60 here. Let's see how to go about and do it. Currently we have that particular table, which is application activity summary, which is same as application. Let's duplicate this. Application activity summaries. Oh, sorry, casing. let's take one record and see what it is. So it has desktop group application, which is what we need in order to calculate the usage of each application. Okay, currently what we are trying to use, okay, what is the top used application in your entire deployment, or say if you have published 10 applications, what is the usage of each of the application? That's what we're trying to see here. Currently it has application ID which we have to group by now. So let's go ahead and do the same thing what we did in the previous use cases. I'll group by, should be fine. Filter, I'll give summary date greater than, say I'll take this entire month. So 1, and granularity equals 1 per folder. I'm just getting all the 1 day data and I'll see what's the usage on that particular application. Currently let's, okay, we have to sum the total usage duration. So we have grouped each application. Now we are summing each of the total usage duration, and the syntax is something like this: aggregate total duration with sum as, yeah, okay, now we got it. So what we got here is, okay, for this application this is the total usage, and that is what we needed as part of this. And this includes all the application, and you can do top 5, top 10 on this particular thing to get your. We covered most of the use cases of this OData, including the summary tables, aggregate, sort, and top. So next we'll see, we face that issue, right? Saying bearer token getting expired. Like, how do we automate this? One of the ways, I'll just like guide you through how to do this. So I have one collection saying OData API call where I have added these variables. Say I have put client ID, client secret, trust URL is the endpoint of Citrix Trust, and customer ID, and OData v4 endpoint as this, and CC auth header format as this. Okay, let me just, okay, so I have two API calls. Say one is get token, and what it does is it'll call this trust URL / customer ID and the endpoint with no auth, and with the body as the client ID and secret, which is there in the variables of Postman. And I have with script which runs on top of the response, which will convert the entire response body to JSON and extract token and add it to global properties. And this global property is available through all of the collections in Postman. And the next request is the call for sessions and like getting one record from it. Yeah, let's see if this entire thing works now. Say I'll just like click enter here and go to body, and I see the token is here. And let me check if bearer token is added into the, okay, yeah, here you can see that bearer token has been added. And if I come here and see if it works, yeah, so it is working. So I'm able to get the token on the fly and put it into the bearer token of the header of the OData call, and I'm able to see the results as well. So currently we explained how to get the OData APIs in case of Citrix Cloud. We have the same feature in case of on-prem as well. What you do in on-prem case is just have to hit this endpoint instead of your customer ID.zendesktop.net. Put the DDC IP here, and rest everything is same. And authentication, you have to pass the NTLM auth with user domain and the password, which is, and you call the same thing with your DDC IPR and everything like grouping, aggregation, everything should work fine on the v4 endpoint. That's pretty much it. Thank you.